G'day everybody. Where does this shit go when you live out in the desert? Well, it goes straight on the land. So if you send humans out there and they eat and all that kind of stuff, they can recycle it after a little bit. So over time, it gets better and better land. And the more they hoon around and do things and bring in animals that do things and stuff like that, the more they compost the land. So people worry about it all the time, and it's usually farmers though. They go, you can't do nothing. Well, you can't farm. But if you do one step at a time, it's called baby steps. And everyone has their spot. So say when you go out the desert, your spot is this whole block here. And I'm sure over time, and we're going to bring in things, and it's going to be like this at first. By the time I finish and we build and we do this by bringing in things and we eat, we'll nearly get self-sustainable and we'll shit and we'll use that shit and won't get all washed away. Nothing gets wasted here, definitely at the start. And we can still use it as we spread out. Right? And you compost everything and put it on the land, and then the land feeds you. Now when it comes to the Great Nile, they use that to help feed them. But they relied on the Great Nile to do that. But if they just did the other system I was just talking about, even as a backup system, right, instead of washing all the stuff into the Nile, but eventually a lot of that washed away or disappeared, right, and so the sediment disappeared with it. But if they had that system going, or knew about it, and maybe pitted it as things were getting worse, they may have saved that area. And it all depends on the rainfall and so on. But when it comes to fertilising the land, as we heard when the river dried up, it wasn't doing well when it comes to farming. But anyway, have a good one everyone. And like I said, it never hurts when you got nowhere to go to the desert. As in stories of human history, that's what we did. And why would God send people to such places? Some would say it was to wander the desert for 10 years, 15 years, or I can't remember the story was or how long a certain group wandered, but I'm pretty sure it was a few groups. Wandered the deserts all there at different times. Some of them just wandered for years, some of them lived out there. But maybe it was to live out there. Maybe it was to wander and think about it and go, shit, couldn't do it. Left and lose a lot of your army. Maybe it's all a test. But how do you perceive it and see it? That's the key, isn't it? Anyway, have a good one, and bye-bye.